about most of the mass shootings around the United States. You talking about particularly Caucasian males. Like statistically, that's who's doing that. You know, there have been other people, and that's been well documented. But when you look at the totality of that behavior, it's typically Caucasian males. So you know they dealing with some stuff too that needs to be addressed. Overall, mental illness and mental health, aside from any racial politics, is an American phenomenon that hasn't been fully addressed, properly addressed. You know, you're talking about school shootings, you're talking about mall shootings and shootings at events and things of that nature. For the most part, that's who you're talking about. So, and I understand where that frustration comes from. I understand, and it's a byproduct of mental illness that definitely needs to be addressed.
Yeah. And that what would you think that mental illness come from? I personally would, I guess, lean towards just the crooked nature of the country, right? And the foundation of the country.
When you look at most of the Caucasian male shooters, they have had some type of association with white supremacy. Almost all of them. Right? Almost all of them have been engaged in those types of political activities. You know, the young white man, Dylan Roof, I believe his name was, that went up into the church. You know, he had associations and with white supremacist organizations. And he's not the only one. You can go down, the list goes on, like almost all of them, with the exception of a few. So white supremacy is, of course, a illness. To believe that somehow genetically you're superior to everybody else on the planet, you know, that's an illness in itself. But it's also caused by a frustration. You're unable to realize and materialize your goals and desires. It leads to a frustration, especially if you think and you've been bred to believe that you're entitled to something, right? There's a sense of entitlement, not just with being a white male, but just being an American in general. We live in a land of plenty. Nobody can deny that America is a superpower and has been for probably the last 75 years, right? So to be in a land of plenty, to live in a superpower and not be able to bring forth your desires, particularly if you're hardworking, somebody that don't mind getting their hands dirty, that's brave, and you know, all of those things, and you can't make shit happen, it's extremely frustrating. You know, or you jump out there and you try to do something, somebody shoots you down. That sense of rejection, coupled with that sense of entitlement, creates what they call a cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is when you have a belief, but your reality don't match that belief. It creates this sense of disillusionment, this sense of confusion, right? That leads to this frustration that could bring forth or manifest in backwards behavior. So I think that's where a lot of it comes from. America has a deep racial problem. So both black people and white people are suffering from the results of this, racial paradigm. You know, this racially based society that pits one group against another. One group feeling that they are superior, and as a result of being superior, should have something, right? Against this group of people that feel like, man, I've been beat up for 400 years, so you owe me something too.
My first summer is required.
All right, come on, man.
Pratt had been awarded as a result of his false incarceration. He took his money, man, and invested it in the water and sewer system